Chainsaw Man. Denji
Flower
with the
vomit.
moves. I love this fucking series.
We're gonna have a dingy harem at some point.
But
guarantee
I don't want it to go down the harem route. I want it to stay wholesome. Like it's like
it can be a wholesome harem. Have you seen Kirito?
Oh, have I seen what?
Have you seen Kirito? It gets wholesome eventually.
Oh, does it?
Reki goes out of his way to not make it all creepy eventually.
Ooh. Yeah, I have no comment on that. Speaking of creepy, have you seen Nux Taku's biggest flexes in hentai?
I have. Downloading that archive right now for when he inevitably deletes it.
Yeah, that's some Kirito shit right there. Like I've watched the one season of Sword Art Online, but I assume that like he's basically at this point just like a hentai protag.
In a way.
Right.
Have you seen the entire series?
Shish. Anyway, Chainsaw Man. So I continue to love this series. It's like, it's how to put it, right? It's one of those series that like, I like when a series can hide like such wholesomeness, whereas in a series where the outer shell looks like it's going to be like a gruesome, gritty, Hellsing Ultimate kind of story, you know?
Hey!
And so, like, on the outside, it's like your crazy, gritty, bloody, yada, yada, but, like, it's got some of the most wholesome, genuine, like, love shit I've ever seen. And what I really wanted to say and appreciate about this specific chapter is the way it kind of flexes on stories like One Piece. So, like, One Piece, one of the problems it's had recently, because Oda has so much on his plate, is that he doesn't have time to just do a chapter like this where it's just total character drama, right? So in this chapter, it's a very slow-paced, just like all that happens in this chapter is Denji's in the rain. Denji, you know, goes into like a phone booth or whatever to get out of the rain. That he meets this girl, they talk a bit, and then he goes and just hangs out with her where she works, you know, and that's it, right? And the funny part is, I remember reviews that we did with Promised Neverland where we would make the same complaint, like, no, nothing happened in this chapter. But the difference is, it's all about likable characters, believable characters, you know? So, like, on the surface level, this is a chapter where it's literally just boy meets girl in rain, romantic stuff happens, scene. But it's not done in a stereotypical way. It's not like, you know, insert random romantic movie here. Because it's got that flair to it, that, you know, Chainsaw Man flair. There's a lot, you know, this is a different world with demons in it. This is a different kind of guy with a demon in his heart. And it's not like in Naruto where, like, when Naruto was in love with someone, it really didn't, like, there was no, like, the nine-tailed fox wasn't coming out, like, fucking with shit. You know, the nine-tailed fox wasn't fucking with his emotions, making him a genuinely different person. In this scenario, Denji is, like, he's kind of, like, he's not fully right in the head because of two reasons. The actual, like, heart thing, but also his upbringing. I mean, even if it wasn't for the heart thing, he was brought up in a very different way, in a very cutthroat, dog-eat-dog kind of way. So, yeah, I mean, it's just, it's so interesting, because I'm a big fan of romance stuff, I always have been, but, like, in this scenario, it's very different, and it makes me wonder how it's going to play out, because Denji, this will be the last thing I say because I'm rambling, and then I'll let you get to your thing. But what I'll say is this author's done a great job at, like, making a nice small cast of characters that I care about each one. I can't think of a character I don't care about. Like, I care about all of them. And, like, so I was thinking about it when stuff was playing out in this chapter. I'm like, what's Makima's end goal here? What's Denji's gonna end up with? You know, like, what girl's Denji gonna end up with? But also, does Makima, is she even in the equation? Because Makima's like a total, like, fucking, what's it called when, like a total wild card factor here. Like, I keep thinking this whole gun fragment thing. Oh, I'm gonna get the gun fragments, then she'll let me do, you know, she'll do something I tell her to do. How's that gonna play out? Will they even get the gun devil? And then if that happens, then all of a sudden, like, you know, Makima has some weird alternate end goal with how she's manipulating Denji. So it's just, there's so much mystery, there's so much intrigue, and there's, and it varies from shonen, like, will they defeat this thing, to what is Makima's true goal, to just a genuine romance plot. And all of that shit is wrapped up in this small little series that only has 40 chapters, that only has a quite small cast, and there's all these questions, and I'm reading it every week, like, just on the edge of my seat as to what's going to happen. And this author has crafted that beautifully.
See, here, here's what the difference in this, because we always, bring up Promised Neverland, but in the current state of Jump, that's the recent one that really captured a lot of audiences. I don't see the same thing from like your Jujutsu Kaisen. Sorry, Thurman. I know you're going to rant in the comments. I haven't seen this from until the anime adaptation of Demon Slayer. I didn't see that much, going on, and it could just be, my circle that wasn't that hyped by it. But once the anime came out, it just blew the fuck up. You don't see this kind of, the Reddit being this rabid weekly with anything, this early on, like it has been for Chainsaw Man. And that's what's so fucking unique about the series. And I guess it's more because it's from an author that has done Fire Punch way back when, not that way back, but still, like, it's an author that has, captivated an audience before, ending lacking, apparently. I haven't read the whole thing, and you would think now with Samurai 8, we'd have the same thing from that because it's Kishimoto. But
Samurai 8's been so fucking swept under the rug. I haven't heard shit about it.
The recent chapter was decent. The last couple before that weren't that good, and that's why we hadn't, like we were originally going to do a fucking series based around it. Like, it doesn't captivate like Naruto did. And that's this current issue with Jump, is like you rarely see that passion put into a project like you do with Chainsaw Man, because there's, always that risk of being axed. So they're like, why bother? Why bother? And what I will give Thurman one thing with Black Clover is, like, there is actually passion in there once you slog through the beginning of it. There is actual passion once he's like, I'm safe for once, because he had so much bad luck.
And I'm glad you brought that up,
because
I'm glad you brought that up because with Chainsaw Man, it almost seemed like he was like not gonna play their game, right? Like, because like if you go back to the beginning of the chapters, he was doing the slow pacing stuff, right? He was able to take his time. It didn't feel like he felt like he had to play all his cards right away. I think some authors feel like they have to fucking play all their big shit like in the first 10 chapters, otherwise, oh god, I need to fucking impress, right? So they get panicky and they like blow all their load, right? Whereas Chainsaw Man is just like progressing at a very nice pace, and it's just a joy to read. You don't feel like bombarded with information, because one of my least favorite things in a story is when it's like chapter 1 info dump, and it's like, no, let's learn about the world along with the characters, and I think Chainsaw Man did that very well.
And the one thing I will give it, like a little bit of a parallel to here is early Walking Dead comics, because you got a lot of info really quickly, but at the same time, you also were learning about the world throughout the fucking entire series. But the shitty adaptation, decided to make Daryl everything and ruined it.
Yeah.
So it kind of just died by the wayside because of the hype of the TV show.
Mm-hmm. But
so,
point being, though, you see my point about how like it can be dangerous to just like info dump everything in the beginning.
And right? That's kind of what we do with some adaptations, like with the Promised Neverland's adaptation. We didn't have the wonderful, learn through the narration. You learn through like stating everything right up front and blah 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 blah. Here are all my siblings here, and it felt so unnatural. So I'm hoping once we get the adaptation of Chainsaw Man, because it's inevitable at this point that we get an adaptation here.
I'm so happy it's popular.
So am I, but I'm also a little bit concerned on.
Here's the thing. Worst case scenario, the adaptation sucks. We don't need it. Fucking anime. We got the manga. Like remember, like 20 chapters ago, we still had to wonder, will it be axed or not?
Right.
Now I'm happy just being past that threshold.
Yeah, really.
And yes, of course, I'd love a good anime adaptation. But yeah, I won't be like crushed if it's not good. I'll just be like, all right, I got the manga. It's fine.
So I'm hoping like Ufotable or fucking, Madhouse or somebody competent, or David Productions.
What the state of Madhouse is right now. I've heard so many.
Yeah,
Where
I've heard so many horror stories from that. Maybe David Productions will do it
I
justice.
don't know. As long as it's just, yeah. And this should be a whole separate video, the anime thing. Let's talk about this chapter specifically. And like I said, I think that because one of my favorite like formulas for any series is like the perfect balance between like shonen action, high stakes, villain, yada yada, and then jump to some slice of life. Because when you really show people that slice of life, you get to know these characters as people. And I think that the best stories have you kind of begin to care about the characters as if they were your own family or friends. And then when you care about them in those ways, when they're in those big serious fights, it's a lot more dramatic, right? So
Yes.
the thing with Denji here is he's really happy. He's like, man, I really do love Makima. Just one little talk with her, and I'm so all my worries are gone. I'll never fall for anyone else again. And then immediately some like total like. Now what is this girl's like niche? I wanted to say goth, but she's not fully goth. But she looks like almost like one of them like Hot Topic girls that wear like t-shirts that like kind of have like nerd shit on them. Because I immediately was like, I'm into it.
I don't even know what you would call this whammon.
I love her.
I love her, but I also got some iffy feelings because let's be realistic here. She could have got there just as quickly as Denji, but she didn't.
Well, maybe she doesn't like work. I feel that.
I feel that, but there's all the red flags of like, maybe she was meeting with somebody, maybe she's got some ulterior motives of herself.
Here's the red flag that was the red flag for me was laughing about somehow Denji reminded her of her dead dog. I was like, uh-oh, she's a little out there. My dead dog.
I killed my dog. Oh.
I don't know. I'm not too sure, but I do like. I love her. Like it's my type. Like immediately. Like girls with fucking.
She's a psycho.
Just like a not the psycho part. Just like she wears high heels. I wear sneakers. She wears something. I wear t-shirts. I don't like that.
Wow. Wow, Red, you dug that one way out of the fucking gutter.
I don't know.
Holy shit. I haven't heard that since middle school.
You got like whammon who like really whammon it up with their wardrobe, and then you got like whammon that are like the guys, like she's just one of the bros. She comes in wearing
You have
a t-shirt.
whammon that can do both.
Sure, I guess, but I'm just saying I know what I'm into.
Get you a whammon who can do both.
Okay, that goes for you too. I expect to see some fucking tuxedos on you, David. The male lingerie. That's what they say. Like a fucking sweet ass like suit tuxedo situation. That's like lingerie for men.
Can you picture my drunken ass in a suit, man? No.
Would you rather be in actual lingerie?
Next question.
Yeah, no, I mean, I don't know.
You seem to forget I wore a dress and high heels in high school for a fucking bet.
Interesting. So you Jean from Rubied it, basically.
I did.
Interesting. I'll have to dig up that picture.
I didn't have social media in high school, so...
If you can find the picture, I'll edit it up.
If anybody in the fucking comments can find that, I will pay them to purge that from the internet.
So what do you think about... I guess, do you have any thoughts on where this is going with Denji's whole like the love triangle that may be starting? Who this girl is? What?
She's an agent of the Gun Devil, and she cannot be trusted.
You really think that, huh?
I don't know.
But she's so best.
If a girl is this best in one chapter, there's immediate red flags in the
this
manga.
Best. Oh, I don't know how to feel, but like. I like the little details in this series, right? So like, I like that he notices that she's breaking the touch barrier a lot, right? So like, she keeps like slapping him on the shoulder, like literally grabbing onto his shirt. Like, I know if you're anything like me, most guys when they're trying to figure out like if a girl likes them, they Google it, and like one of the clear signs is like if someone likes you in that way, they'll constantly break the touch barrier, as in like lots of hugging, lots of patting on the back, lots of grabbing of the shoulder, you know? So I like that Denji picks up on that, and I picked up on that too. Like, she's clearly coming onto him, you know? At least typically, psychologically speaking, if someone's like doing a lot of touching of you, that's like, whether they're aware of it or not, that's like a sign that they want to be closer to you, you know?
Right.
So again, I personally hope it's not some fucking nefarious plot where she's like actually like evil. I just want it to be yeah, oh, if it's that kind of evil, I'm okay with it. That'd be funny. Like the straight up like Biscuit from Hunter x Hunter, like ho ho ho. But isn't that like an old woman, like a stereotypical old woman anime laugh?
Yes.
So is she gonna be like a demon lolly that's like actually like 1,000 years old?
A demon lolly that's 1,000 years old. Red, you've watched too much Nuxtaku.
Demon lolly. I don't know. I just
Next flex.
like her. There's not a lot to talk about, honestly, in this chapter, other than the fact that I just love it. I love chapters like these. These are just
the vomiting puke and the
yeah, what about the
the
flower thing? Again, like Denji's a strange boy. Like, he's like, you know what, I will give to charity. Oh, cool, have this flower. Sweet. And he just ate it. And I was just like, Denji, you have to stop.
Denji, you got to stop.
It's
also,
time to stop.
Can we just give Fish Boy best boy status? Like, he's the adoring fan from... He's the adoring fan from fucking Oblivion, and it's kind of wholesome.
No, he's still worst boy and all. In the chapter where they introduced all the new ones, he's still my least favorite. And I expect him... Remember what I said back then? What did I say? I said if any of them are going to die, as an example, it's going to be Shark Boy. Did I call that? I called it. It's happening. This man's going to die.
Oh, yeah. He's definitely going to die.
Like, someone's going to try to kill Denji. And, like, because he's... have you noticed he's literally, like, Denji's shadow at this point?
Yeah.
So, like, he's become Denji's shadow. So, like, literally, Shark Boy... tragically missing Lava Girl, but anyway.
Oh God.
Shark Boy, like I can almost see it now. Like someone
comes after Lava Girl.
Someone comes after Denji.
Lava Girl was a requirement for his contract.
Someone comes after Denji, tries to kill him. Shark Boy's gonna jump out of the fucking floor and like take the bullet for him. I'm telling you.
Oh yeah.
And it'll be tragic, and then we can get on to actual best boy/girl, the Angel Devil. Best trap.
Yeah, definitely.
Listen, I mean, what's your audience? What is your stance on the "are traps gay" question? It's a very philosophical question. I've seen it debated quite a lot.
Oh man,
what's your stance on that, David?
I don't know.
No. If there's anything that we should discuss on this channel called Controlled Chaos, it is "Are Traps Gay?" And there's no.
It can be a separate video.
Ooh. Can we bring in? Okay, and it's been a while, but could we reach out to ye old Chris Velasquez for that one?
He'll bring up the 4chan posts of like where they met.
Exactly. Yeah, he's the master. He's like a fucking like a professor. Like, he went to college for, like, 8 years to study if traps are gay.
Send him this timestamp.
Like, I like the idea of, like, him in his house with, like a bunch of sticky notes and, like, string, and he's just like, okay, so a trap is this, and scientifically, if you analyze the body shape, it's 25% feminine, and if that would be this percentage of gay, but if you subtract that by
the fact that my dick is going into
if you subtract that by how gay docking is.
Oh Jesus. Oh, I really hope none of my coworkers watch this video.
But if his dick gets cold enough, and it becomes a dick innie, and he has a mangina, and I fuck that.
Fuck, man.
You know that, right? Like sometimes that can happen. Like, if you're a major grower, not a shower, and it gets real cold, it can just suck into your fat. It's not a good day.
Well, lose the fat then.
That's the plan, man. It's happening.
Oh God. What a beautiful disaster. I came off of watching Off Topic 200, which was
Disenchanted season 2.
That too, but
with Best Girl Bean.
Best Girl Bean, who's already been looted in new ways. Thank you,
Good.
R34. Like, holy shit. The internet works fast as fuck.
Bean is prime for looting because
she really is.
She seems to like I feel better about it because Bean seems to be super okay with it.
What is this video? Every time we record a Chainsaw Man
this is how it happens. Listen, man. What's the channel called, David? Controlled Chaos. So the first half of the video is controlled, and the second half is chaos.
I cannot wait for Ruby to come back so it can be Ruby Control Chaos again. That's the best Control Chaos. God damn it, Carrie Shawcross. Give us our new season.
Yes, what he said. But final thoughts on Chainsaw Man and predictions. Go.
Final thoughts. I want to watch Shark Boy get eaten by Demon Lolly Angel Devil thing. I want to watch the Vor happen.
What? The Vor Devil.
Introduce the Vor Devil.
You do realize anything that humans are afraid of is a devil in this. That's my headcanon, right? That's basically like devils
and
are created
not
from.
a more hated tag in hentai than Vor.
So think about it. Devils are created, and correct me if I'm wrong in the comments, but how I understand the lore here is that devils are created when enough humans are afraid of something, and then their fear manifests into a devil, right? So if enough people are afraid of Vor, and I know I am, there would be a Vor devil.
There also has to be bird porn devil.
I'm pretty afraid of furries. There could be a furry devil.
How can you be afraid of furries when Sonic Fox is a thing?
Man, remember that one year at Grand Rapids Comic Con where they actually had like a furry section?
Yes.
Like they were walking around, and I was like, oh my god, I've never seen one in the wild before.
I jokingly, was holding up like the tail and was like, I'm gonna buy Justin.
Man, I wouldn't touch any of them furry costumes. You don't know how many of them are cum soaked.
I was on the rack of things to buy, okay? I was assuming the cum was not on it yet.
You got to give it a sniff to check.
Oh god, I don't want to sniff anybody else's cum.
We all know what dried cum smells like. Don't pretend you don't.
Jesus Christ.
Everyone knows. Everyone.
Oh, goddamn.
And with that...
Peace.
Okay.
What the fuck?